of this best of 3 series. BLG did not get side select in the first matchup between these two teams, so they get it this time, of course opting towards blue.
That's both the Orianna and the Azir ban, you are just daring AL to ban Talia. And I'm wondering if we get some sort of trade between Talia, Trundle, Sion still up too. So like if you give up 1P Talia, you can still go like Sion, Trundle and actually feel pretty good. Play Annie on the back half too. So really interested to see what AL decides to take away here. Because they have a lot of opportunity to deny one of those. Of course, Yunara is still on the board too. And okay, not anymore.
We're leaving a lot of OPs up at this point because of the target bans.
Oh, it's just Trundle.
So it's going to be Trundle
okay.
B1, yeah.
So Trundle Sion likely for BLG. We'll say that AL, I don't think that the Sion's been as good a pick for Bin. It doesn't have to do anything with Bin and Sion. I think Sion's just fine. It's just that Bin on carries, like, it's Bin. In the top, it just feels like he has more game impact when he's playing the Jax, the Cassante, the Nara, the Renekton, than the Sion. But yeah, very likely that we see the Sion picked up for Bin here. Whereas, of course, that Talia was handshaked. And I'm wondering if we get a Rumble, but I think a Rumble is really tough to play in the Trundle Sion because, like, your ability to get chain ganked and be a very unhappy camper, it's very real.
Yeah, super immobile, and the Sion is okay with just, like, sacking the first couple of levels and eventually building a null magic mantle and making your life miserable. So it looks like instead AL focusing towards some of the other OPs that were banned frequently in our last series. Talia, obviously, and then a Kaisa for Hope would maybe give AL a little bit of that hope, as this is, again, a champion that has dominated the league this season.
And Hope has been dominant on this champion as well. 3-1 in the champ this split. As, okay, no Sion. Instead, it's Rumble plus Aurora. Good pairing. Yeah. You're taking away one of the counter picks to Rumble on the top side, too. Let's say it might be a little bit of an overdose of magic damage. They did go Aurora top, just given the Kaisa for AL. But regardless, really strong. 2 picks coming out for BLG. And you can't really respond with the Sion. Like, Flandre would love to play an Ornn, maybe in a Rumble. I think it's very unlikely that we see that here. Wouldn't be surprised to take a priority support. Just have a very different draft going in. So, get the bot side locked in here for AL. I like the Nico pick now. Don't have to really ban a lot of supports to protect that. You can pretty safely blind that, take away Karma if you want, and just kind of play from there. Whereas BLG, showing that top side, I'm curious what they end up taking away from AL and the Trundle, because like I don't think you need the ban Ornn here. You could even consider like a Renekton ban. I think Renekton and the Trumble Rumble is actually kind of playable. We just haven't seen a lot of people play it because you have to scale into that matchup a little bit as Renekton and then play side lane, which is a little bit different from most Renekton games where you're just, you know, get the brute force early on and win. But I do think that match is playable. I'm just kind of curious what Flandre ends up going for.
Yeah, I mean, the Sion, the Ornn, the Cassantes are all things that you generally would want to pick into a Rumble, but are very bad into Trundle, who is something that you always have to consider here. One of the classic matchups from the start of the year was like a Galio, but then you really are indexing into magic damage here for anyone's Legends.
Oh, that's a good call.
Would maybe be a little bit hesitant to lock that one in. Maybe Flandre just goes for something that might have a little bit of struggles in lane, but can just do more in the team fighting, like a Renekton, as you mentioned.
I think the Maokai gets, like, do you have to ban Maokai here or not if you're BLG? Because for me, the best 2 picks in the Trundle have been Wukong and Maokai. But again, you said the magic damage. Like, I don't think that you're really worried about a Maokai here. So yeah,
kind of a self-counter, which I'd be very curious about. Jarvan is something that Tarzan has played a lot of and is good into the Trundle.
I think you Jarvan. Yeah.
That would not be bad either.
I'm with you on the Jarvan, but it's going to be Ambassa. So I think this pick it does make some sense. But yeah, Elk, we didn't have a Karma ban. So it was the Ezreal Karma indeed. And now I think the value of a Jarvan, I mean, you could argue it goes down because of the Ezreal, but frankly, I like locking up the Karma. I think that again, like these Moonstone supports are actually kind of sneaky effective later on. And if you throw in that Wombo, I think that is one of the few champs that Tarzan can play. Oh, this is a spicy one.
Hey, he did it against
BLG. It's a good game for it
in LPL finals, and it's going to get locked in again. There is the Zed likely for Tarzan here in the jungle.
There is no CC for Zed. Like, none.
No hard
There's
here
no
for BLG.
CC for Zed. So it has to be about the damage for BLG. That they have to find a way to get through this Zed. This is a creative pick for Tarzan. I like it, though. I think that the biggest danger for me early on, what camps are going to be under threat from BLG into AL? Because if you're playing Trundle into Zed, oh my god, like if you find Zed with early on with no Shadow, or it doesn't even matter if he has Shadow up or not. Shadow needs to hunt the Zed, the Master of the Shadows himself. So there's going to be some priority in the top lane. There will be priority bot with Ezreal and Karma. I think this game is really on Shadow. He needs to build up a lead from, like, you know, after his third camp and on into this Zed. Because if you don't have any sort of lead as Trundle in the Zed, we've seen what Zed can do with 2-3 items out of the jungle. He's filthy. So I think it's a really interesting draft from AL. There's no CC that Zed has to worry about, so we'll see what Tarzan can do.
And, you know, the last time we saw a Zed against BLG, it was the exact same matchup. Tarzan Zed into Beishuan's Trundle, and he ended up popping off and winning AL that LPL championship. So maybe try to just bring some of that good vibes back here on the AL side, as they definitely need it, as they have struggled over the last couple of weeks ever since they made it back into the LPL for the first half of the regular season. While BLG definitely has shined. They are undefeated, currently sitting in first place, looking to continue that streak to get ready for game number 1 of our LPL Finals rematch.
All right. Excited for this one, man. I think the AL has been kind of disappointing so far this split, but a win against BLG, handing them the first loss, would be... what bigger way to turn around your split from there?
I think we are in Shanghai, the neutral site, unless I'm mistaken, here between BLG and AL.
Oh, that's when you know it's a big game. You got the neutral site for it, you know?
I also don't think either of these guys have a home arena, if I'm not mistaken. So
that's a pretty sports-pilled take, you know?
Yeah, like the World Cup finals and things like that. Just
opening college basketball games, you know?
Yeah.
Duke, Michigan State playing on a battle cruiser. Like, how American is that?
Just going to Hawaii, yeah. Like
hell yeah.
Let us know in chat. Where's your dream LPL arena location that is not a place that currently gets...
I like that, Graves.
We'd love to hear
that.
As we did see in our geography discussion, Kael got pushed out a little bit. That does allow for Shadow to go for a nice invade.
Yeah. I mean, again, the level 1 is so winning on this side, from the Ezreal to Karma. And yeah, we're going to see Hope get forced out. We'll say that Elk, his Ezreal, we mentioned the Hope Kaisa. I think that Elk's Ezreal also warrants a lot of mention, as it has been fantastic, this split. I mean, this year. I think that Elk, like, with all the BLG, you know, not quite being the BLG that has been as dominant as the last couple of years, I think Elk might have had, like, he might be having his best year out of any year that he's had on BLG. I know I didn't follow LPL as closely in the past two, but man, it really feels like Elk has been on point as a marksman for this team this year.
Very, very steadfast, very consistent, which is never like super flashy. I feel like the flashiest player on BLG this year definitely has been Knight, where he has some really, really high moments, specifically during the regular season of Split 2. Elk, on the other hand, just able to do his job all the way through. You remember in that finals, Cubby, we got to cast together the Ezreal in game number 3. That was a big reason as to why BLG even took a game in that series.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, Elk's Ezreal has been a win condition straight up for BLG. Like, let's look at all splits here. For what is Elk's? He's at 21 plays with a 71% win rate on the Ezreal this year.
And that's pretty good so far here too. Look at Hope. He has 2 CS. He had to take it early back. Yeah,
it's pretty filthy. Again, the Ezreal Karma matchup. This is the double counter. I was a little bit surprised they didn't ban out the Karma. I will say that the Nico Karma matchup itself, it is very Karma favored in lane. Nico doesn't have enough damage to get through Karma. But in the later stages of the game, Nico's ability to one-shot Karma exists for the majority of the game. So that's a pretty good sign, as you have ways to play into it later on. But at least BLG did say they needed an early lead. We were looking at the Trundle in the Zed matchup. At least the split map has, I think, helped add some pressure on this bot lane. It's really allowed Elk and On to play without concern of the jungle, and we've seen them cash in on that pretty good so far. Knight just W'd in. This could be Tarzan looking for a prank. Yeah. That's a big flash. That's a nice pull.
Oh, yeah. Hey, at the end of the day, the fact that it's Tarzan that actually gets a summoner spell first out of either of these two junglers, that's a win, considering how the early game has gone so far for anyone's legend. BLG controlling the bottom side of the map, absolutely, but the rest of the map, more even across.
That was really nice from On. Like, he took aggro, then dipped into the brush. That makes all the minions focus on one. So you actually push the wave faster. Or the enemy wave pushes into you faster, which, again, like, if you're poking like this, can add as Elk.
There, your pop by Hope early.
You needed it.
Continued aggression here by the BLG bottom.
Hope has 2 biscuits, so I think he's going to be okay from here on out. Oh, not if he does that, though.
Tether connects onto him. Gonna pop one of those biscuits right now. The Monster Q not hitting that second proc, but Hope set it back to the base for the second time in less than 5 minutes. Not the best start here for anyone's Legend.
W range of the Karma, not exactly ideal. I think that's a mistake from Hope for sure. As the Nico is going to do its best to keep the wave back, will prevent the cannon from getting under the turn immediately. That actually might be picked up by the Kais. I think it's kind of a big deal. Given the, I don't even care about the gold at this point, just the experience. Like, if you're falling that far behind against Ezreal Karma, that's where it could get really grim. And now for AL, okay, they lose the cannon. Now for AL, I mean, they keep on opting back into this. They kind of have to, just to make sure that the Kais is able to get stuff. But I think a swap could be, I mean, I don't know if it's even good or bad. Because you got to play into Rumble. Which I don't know if Kaisa and Nico can really push around. I think maybe the best case scenario would be if they could get Kaisa, like, solo. But Kaisa's already been put so far behind. You can't put Kaisa solo going into, like, a level 6 Rumble when you're level 3, right? Yeah. You want to be, hopefully, level, 4.5 versus 6. So, bot lane dominance for BLG means first Drake goes over. Kind of what we expected, but good start for them still.
Good return on tonight. Remember, they did burn his flash earlier, still off of cooldown. But Tarzan going to get spotted by the control ward. And with On coming into match, not going to be any play here on to the Aurora. So instead, just the Dragon picked up for BLG. And, a bit of a problem that has been set up for AL. You didn't ban the Karma because you wanted to make sure that there was no hard engage on BLG's side. But now, going to be a big problem here as Shanks has to flash away. But Jado comes in immediately with a Pillar of Ice and picks up first blood onto the AL mid laner. Now gets some more skirmishing on the bottom side. Elk flashing forward. Kael not going to go down.
I think Elk thought he hit the Mystic Shot. If he did, then it's a potential PTA proc and a kill. Not the case, though. It means that Kael actually gets out, gets the fruit, and we'll have to head for the hills. Really like this play from On again. Like, he has just completely zoned Kael off this wave. And this actually puts a lot of pressure on the Hope. So Kael's trying to loop-de-loop, but yeah, he's in trouble now.
Forces the flash.
Okay.
Get himself away from the tether. That is a nice play here by On. Alongside Elk continuing to harass the heck out of this AL bottom lane.
Tarzan's coming. There's 3 control wards for AL on this bot side, and I think BLG have kind of read the tea leaves here, but Tarzan's 6 and On's no flash. I'm kind of surprised that Tarzan didn't just send it there. I guess they don't know where Shadow's at, but like I think that if you pop R there as Tarzan, you could get a really, like I don't know, do you have enough to kill On with a pickaxe? I don't know.
I don't know.
Would have been a positive trade.
Tough. He has, you don't know what, like, the Summers, the heal barrier, almost off of cooldown. They're very close to under the tower. Like, you almost feel like your Tarzan, you have to be a little bit risk averse in this situation, knowing that.
I thought he could have W'd behind On and then gotten out of tether range and, like, used his combo and gotten back in and, like, tried to R. Yeah. So, like, you have both Shadows down. I didn't see his W cooldown, but again, regardless, they were able to ease up some of the pressure on the bot lane. But that said, Hope going straight to bot as Grub spawns. I don't think the Grubs are fightable either if you are AL.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to Bin, who actually has set himself up nicely despite having 0 pressure by his jungler for the last 8 minutes of this laning phase. It's up 10 CS, up about 200 gold. He's going to have enough pressure to allow for Shadow to start up these Grubs for free.
Yeah, that's a little bit of how the matchup goes. I will say that Flandre did go for the Hex Drinker early, which isn't typical, but I think somewhat warranted this game. Yeah, he's going up against a lot of magic damage between the Rumble, Aurora, and even Subjugate. Gives you something. Karma Ezreal has some magic damage in their kit. So I guess he gets a lot of mileage out of it. I'm just kind of curious how much further he goes into the Maw build. Because you don't want to go Maw early on Mbessa. Like, delaying Eclipse is sometimes tough, but should give him a little bit of reprieve in this lane.
The defensive items for both the top laners. The plated skill cap started up by Bin. Knight gets hit up by a nice combo from Shanks, but he is actually still in a good spot. Ultimate does not land onto him, but remember, Shanks still picked up his flash. Tether lands. Is that going to be enough damage? He's dead again. This time On claiming the gold.
Good roams from On. I think that he's used the bot priority decently well. really like how he's moved with his team here. As a couple positive plays on the Shanks as the struggles continue for Shanks in the mid lane.
Remember, you saw those stats. The laning specifically has been where he has struggled, and we're seeing that yet again. Tarzan has not been able to join him and help him out, really.
I mean, it is Zed in the Trundle, so you aren't going to get a lot of jungle help on this one, but I mean, Talia, I think sometimes we take for granted how well a lot of our pros pilot this champion that is very good. And has been very good for the split, but I find Talia pretty difficult to pilot, especially like if you're going to play in solo queue, just because so much of her kit revolves around that W flick and it being set up by teammates. And of course, see Shanks, lack of teammates around him, can't use the EW quite as well, just kind of there to delete waves and be a victim of a couple of nice roams from BLG.
BLG has done wonders with this early game at this point. Extended their gold lead to about 1,500 without doing all too much other than some nice plays in the mid lane. Anyone's Legend looking to try to find a response somewhere across the map. Tarzan has been farming decently well, but not really in a position to fight anywhere, given how far ahead basically all members of BLG are in the lanes.
I mean, at least Hope's like only down 10 now. And again, I think if you're AL, like this draft, you're kind of signing up to, like, we're going to hope to play for Rift or Third Dragon, right? Like, there's no way that we sniff the Grubs, the first 2 Drakes. Like, that's going to be a seed, / like, we'll do what we can. I think just champs on paper, like, that's kind of the script of the game you're looking at. I think the big spike / play for them is going to be the Zed 2 item, and then try and get Kai'Sa to 3 items. But until then, I do think that they lose. So it's just going to be a, let's try to delete as many waves and farm up as much as we can and kind of lose gracefully, which I think that where the game's at right now, it's reasonable. But definitely focus for me on BLG to see how and where they're able to push this advantage forward next. And I would kind of like to see a swap at one point. Just to, because like Rumble can respond so well to swap scenarios. You can use the Ezreal Karma to like try and pressure down a turret. Because the 2v2 is not as winning anymore. Now that Nico is 6, like you're actually under some threat. So I like the fact that Tarzan's hovering bot.
And here's the slight issue that BLG have is even though they've been able to generate really big leads in all 3 of their lanes, it's kind of hard for them to try to build off of that because of the lack of hard engage. They're really going to have to focus on just like starting up these major objectives and hoping that AL want to try to fight them around.
I will say like, at least the Karma gives you like a lot of malleability. Like this champion, I mean the speed up that you get, like it is valuable. So they can try and play out these kite fights. Yeah, I mean, like, there's minimal setup for a Rumble. I think that's a good point, Grapes. Definitely one that we haven't hit on yet. And AL, I'm still surprised they fight this. I just don't think they're strong enough right now.
Tarzan's going to hunt down a little bit. He jumps into the pit with his Shadow, but the subjugate from Shadow is going to chunk him down very low. The Dragon was not nearly done in time, as that is the first kill of the fight picked up for BLG. They'll get the Dragon as well, but nice taken down very low. Between Worlds is not enough to save him, but Bin is cooking AL with the overheated Rumble. Hope will go down. It's another kill going over to BLG. Only Shanks and Kael left to try to fight this one out, but they do not have the damage just yet. The equalizer goes on to Shanks. They will not finish off the kill now, but they're hunting. They're waiting for this wave to crash in. They're looking for the dive. Shadow flashes in. Only chomps the clone, but it's going to be all right as he continues to wait, bide his time, and allow for BLG to get 5 kills.
I mean, Grapes, like, why are we fighting this? Like, I'm sitting up here and, like, I don't know. I'm not these guys. I'm not as good. There's a reason we're up here and not down there, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just because we're American.
We're also not from China.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's true. But, like, what... In what world is this a winning fight for AL? Like, this is some of my disappointment of the team, because I felt like they were doing well at these things at MSI, at the other tournament, and past splits. But these are mistakes that we're seeing from AL, just not necessarily as Tarzan. Subjugate early. Still ticks while you're in midair, and then this chomp from Shadow was pretty thick. Like, it's so disjointed. Like, he has to be fine Knight, but the flick from Shanks doesn't have any rocks to it. Like, Hope dashing in, like, that's a one-way trip. We're going for a 1-for-1 there. Not to mention the Ambessa dashing in. And I just don't think there's any world where the items, the champs we have on paper, we're playing that dragon fight from behind where it's winning. And now we're in a world where AL, the team, you know, we talked about some of the scaling they have. Like, Ambessa's good late, Kai'Sa's good late. You just set yourself 2.5, 3K gold behind off this play. Like, why? You can play for other stuff elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what would have been a 2-dragon lead and about a 1,500 gold lead is now a 2-dragon lead and a 3,000 and 4,000 gold lead. And
oh no!
It's going to continue to get even worse. As Shadow, he's a big boy this time around on the Trundle. 5-0-1. Already has his Triforce completed and working towards that dead man second. Be a huge problem here against anyone's legend for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. I have no idea how Shadow has been this good with BLG, by the way. Like, there's got to be... We have to start talking about this BLG jungle situation. It's like, we've joked like they can't keep getting away with this. But at what point can they keep on getting away with this, Graves?
They can't. I mean, 7-0 with Shadow. They were 9-0 to start the season, or to wrap up the regular season when Beishuan stepped in. I mean, it is pretty hilarious. I mean, you even go back a couple, last year when they swapped in Wei, swapped in Shun, and it ended up all working out for them. Something about making the vibes right. Some culture change. Definitely Shadow provides that as a large communicator, heavy on leading these super talented players. It seems like it's not necessarily a highly mechanical jungler that BLG need. It's somebody that can wrangle up all the other superstars and make them do their job.
I don't think you're allowed to play carries with Knight. It's just how it is.
Exactly.
Knight and Bin, for that matter. And to be fair, when you're that good, I think you can kind of ask that out of your jungler. We're going to see Shanks take the level 10 of Weaver's Wall. Headed for the hills. That's actually kind of a big deal, so you don't get the lower cooldown. Cast at level 10, and this Trundle. In a comp with minimal to no CC here, Grapes, what we can do is we can Karma Shield and empower this Trundle that's about to have a Dead Man's Plate on the next base. And he's going to do a lot of really stupid damage to everyone.
Kael looking for something in the Pop Blossom, but it just tickles BLG at this point. They don't care at all.
I don't mind that. I think that's more to, like, prevent the push. Because mid is also pretty dire from that. I don't think that there's ever, like, a real play there, if I'm going to be honest. So it ended up looking a little goofy, but...
Well, they don't have it here. The Herald has been spawned in mid lane. Tower taken in the bottom side, but now Tarzan jumping down a Shadow. No shuriken over his head means that the Trundle will survive. There's just no taking this Troll King down just yet.
Not yet, Tarzan. No, we see the Black Cleaver behind that one. And I think a lot more. All the objectives go over to BLG. Third Drake about to spawn, and I don't see a single world where AL can contest this one either. Because they opted to contest the last one, in which they also had no world to contest it. But now they're further behind from deciding to contest it that time around, Graves. So I feel like we just had the same script in the last game.
Yeah. I mean, it's just such a stark difference between how AL have looked over the past two splits. I mean, for me, they were the most consistent team of the entire year going into split number 3. Getting rewarded for it, obviously, with their play internationally, but now seemingly lost in many senses of the word is even Tarzan, their beloved hero. I mean, what a stark contrast between him and the Zed in the LPL finals and him now. As AL looking to make a play on the top side for Bin. Equalizer comes out, it clears out the wave, and now the full tower is going to start to heat up. Don't know if AL can really continue this one, but they're going to do it regardless. Another tower shot's really going to hurt Flandre. But it will be enough for Bin to likely go down. The threaded volley and eventually the unraveled earth will pick up a shutdown for anyone's legend. But looking to trade on the other side. Ooh. It's going to be another kill going towards Elk.
Actually pretty close on almost the trade found by Tarzan, but instead it is going to the map set on fire for AL by BLG as Dragon falls, bot inner turret falls. All traded for top outer and a kill on the Bin. I almost said kill Bill there. Oh my god, we're gonna get 1v1. Watch this.
Trundle, baby. Oh, barrier. Buying some time. Nope, one more hit will do it. And Shadow gets kill number 6 onto the Trundle. As BLG looks like their honeymoon is not ending just yet.
I mean, it's pretty fun to just drop the troll pole and just absolutely bash some of the death. You can see Shadow with a smile on his face.
Don't call it the troll pole.
Yeah, sorry, that's Fizz, but, you know, troll pillar.
I don't like it. Anyway. Nice job by Tarzan.
Tarzan Noir. Once he shadows to clear the wave, he doesn't really have an option. He's dead on my screen. The troll pillar.
Yeah, but I see where you're going. Or maybe I just need to. Maybe I'm just been up for too long. But
you know, speaking of up for too long, you ready for my day, Grapes?
Sure.
I'm gonna head over.
Okay.
Oh, hold on. Okay, it's nothing. He's just... Oh, wait, it is something. Shanks.
Hey, I'll have something that they want to do today. That is go for a fight here and try to defend their own red buff.
He got on
Shadow
splash.
throws out that pillar, slows down Tarzan. Will be secured here by the Zed, but now the subject gets on. Shadow going super far forward. He ends up taking down Tarzan, but it might cost him his life. Kael taking very low, 1,000 gold into the hands of Shanks. But here comes Knight on the Aurora, and BLG are looking to clean house in the jungle of anyone's legends. And they'll be able to get 3 kills off of it.
Oh, he's going to get on, though, who's flashless. So that's another shutdown going over to AL. That's a big goal to pick up. I think that play actually favors AL. I know it's an even trade. You got big shutdowns. I guess they're down 1 of the trade. I think the goal picked up still worth it for them. All right, they're going to lose top inner. Still, I think a little bit of overforce there from BLG. Some good finds by AL. Definitely got some gold over to important carries. I mean, Shanks and Hope both got shutdowns there. So, pretty big gifts being given over. It's at least something.
How much of it was BLG overextending versus AL actually playing well? I feel like it's a mix of both.
Yeah, I like the setup from AL. I really do. You got on splash. I think that's a good play. And I just think that Shadow overforced here. I know the Tarzan's low, but you don't need to play this. You try to contest the objective. Just go fix your waves again. They pulled bin TP for this, but that's some big gold given over. Like the shutdowns went to the right places for AL. So again, this is still not a point in the game where AL can win, but trading out 3 for 2 like that's not bad. And oh my God, they're just hitting the Otacon.
Well,
go back to live LPL.
You might as well.
A Kaisen melted Otacon.
Very low. Shadow
no
gonna have to get into the pit. Nicely done by
great.
Shanks to use the seismic shove to get him away. This Otacon secured, but look at the damage on the backside of things. 2 kills immediately going over to BLG in response. But if AL can get out with the rest of their members alive, it could still be worth it. Shadow looking to hunt him down, waiting for the pillar to come off of cooldown. Instead, popping the subjugate on the Flandre, who has to flash away. And he should be able to get out here with his life. Combo not going to land here from Knight. And so AL will get away with the Otacon at the price of 2 kills.
I will call that worth again. I know that they're going to lose something bot. I think that the Otacon, that's the best comeback mechanic you can find in the game with the roses and how it works. It really is. So... bot inhibitor is a lot to lose for it, and that will not help with the dragon setup, but I think that was a play that AL had to make. So I do like that play from AL. Again, I think that they've actually found a couple of decent forces in the BLG. It's just that second dragon contest put them so goddamn far in the hole, Grapes. Like, yeah, these fights are not close yet, and you're staring down a Chemtech soul spawning in a minute here, and the game still doesn't look like it's in your favor.
I mean, just think about how different this game could have been if they didn't go for that fight, right? I mean,
yep.
It would still be 3 dragons to nothing, most likely. Although maybe AL would have even been able to contest the 3rd if they did not fall so far behind. But now, they're put in a very tough situation. Even with the Otacon, they're down over 5,000 gold, and they still have to try to force this 5v5 for the Dragon Soul that spawns in about 30 seconds when all these big power spikes are starting to come in for BLG's members.
Yeah, I mean, again, as AL, you got to try and throw out some hero plays. I think that they're still way far behind in this one. I do think that the last 2 plays they made are probably the best they can do in this game. Yeah, second dragon was just abysmal. And now, I mean, look at the bot wave. Like, that's not going to help you in setting up for this dragon as Kael.
Kael's gotten caught. He's forced to go forward with the Pop Blossom. Only going to find Shadow, but Kael will go down first. It is a trade, though, as Hope does take the BLG jungler down. That means no smite for a potential soul fight. Knight hunting for a flank, gets spotted up by the control board. Now Shanks going to go forward here with the Weaver's Wall to try to close down and pick him out. But Shanks is now the one who's getting picked up as Knight gets the kill onto the AL mid laner. Tarzan and Hope now forced to flee. And even though there's no smite on BLG's side, they should still be able to claim the soul.
Well, that was an oopsie from Shanks. Well played by Knight. Don't really know what to say about that one, though. Tarzan is going to do his best to get in here, but that's Chem Soul going down. And, well, those Karma shields, those Rumble shields, the Trundle healing, all going to be empowered and all going to be harder to kill on the map now, Grapes. As the Otacon Gambit, I think in the end doesn't pay off. The soul was given over, and I don't know if I talk about this game after the second Drake in review. I'm going to be honest. This is... I don't know what Tabe talks about after this one. I actually feel like AL made some decent plays to actually try and get themselves back in this one, but this game was just so doomed after that dragon.
And even, it just feels like that constant theme of overforcing. As you mentioned with Tarzan and his performances throughout the season, it's kind of a theme throughout this game as a whole. Even that situation around the Soul, where they picked up a kill on the Shadow, that should be pretty good. Now you're fighting 4v4. Shanks just yeets it straight into the middle between Knight and Elk and just gets.
You could have played it slower. Like, you could have stalled it. And again, like the Otacon, look at the levels. Like AL's way down in this game. Look at the top side levels. They're actually up in terms of experience. On the top side. Minus, I guess Shanks is down a full level. But he's also encouraged some of that on his own. As Shadow going in, subject to get cast. AL able to sneak on out.
Kael taking a little bit of damage, but should be fine. We have the Baron spawning in 10 seconds. Could be the next target for BLG. Feels like they're strong enough to take it on their own. However, still have to be wary of the strength of anyone's Legend team fighting. Remember, their team fighting in the late game is what we thought their composition did best. And still waiting for that third item from Hope, but him and Flandre are both at 2. So maybe starting up the objective on spawn for BLG is not necessarily the best situation for them.
I mean, best thing that you can do now, if you're AL, looking at the flip side, just kind of wait and pray for the Elder. It's not like the scaling for AL doesn't exist. Again, like BLG really lacks crowd control. I think that if they approach a fight wrong or not with the raw strength they have, like it's winnable. We've seen Shadow go down twice, which is, I would say, at least one more time more than I expected after the start of the game that he had. But I think the only hope you have at this point is probably 3-item Kaisa and then go from there. Like, and Bess is at 3 items, and that's a good sign. Like, technically, Flandre is ahead of Bin. Look at the inventories. Tarzan has tried his best to keep up despite being down 7 kills.
Oh, he gets the red buff. Might pay for it with a little bit more, though. Kael going in. Pop Blossom once again on the Shadow. They're going to try to burst down the Trundle, but Elk is there to take Kael down. Bin has teleported in and looking to try to flank out the rest of anyone's Legend. The Equalizer is massive, and it takes down Hope. A double kill in already for Elk. And Flandre is doing a lot of damage, but not as much as this Ezreal is. It's a triple kill, soon to be a quad, but instead Bin will be the one to take it away. And he's picked up for BLG, as they will now be able to completely own the Rift.
We've seen a couple of fights where AL have actually been able to get through the Trundle with the Kaisa, but that was with the help of everyone. That time it was just Kaisa. Shadow lives long enough, and despite him and On falling, that was the right fight that BLG needed. Should be Baron secured, and frankly, pretty close to having Game 1 be secured as well.
Looked like, again, a fight that maybe could have gone anyone's Legend way. Flandre stayed alive for a very, very long while. But instead, it is going to be BLG picking up this Baron. Kael looked for a miracle steal, not going to end up finding it. And now it is BLG with a gold lead nearing 10K as we get a look at this replay.
Yeah, and this is the hard play to make at this point of the game if you are Tarzan. I feel like he sent in a lot. And doesn't have an effective Zed fight. Actually, okay, he actually played that very well. that was actually really close to going Tarzan's way. He played that really well. I don't know if he lives that, though, if it's any change. And again, I mean, this game was just put so out of bounds by that second dragon fight that AL didn't respect it. Some of these fights have been kind of close, like in a way, Grapes. I mean, we've been some ticks of damage away from it, maybe going AL's way. Like the Otacon take, again, I thought was unnecessary risk from AL. But this full court press from BLG and just, again, like fighting that second dragon. There's no world in which you win that second dragon fight from any angle that I saw. It's given the champs on your screen and then the fact you're behind on the play. And AL just put themselves in such a massive hole from there. And BLG made this game pretty easy for them.
Now the finishing touches. As anyone's Legend desperately looking to find some massive flank, some answer, maybe a pick on tonight. As Shanks goes forward with the Weaver's Wall, not going to find that W, though. As Knight will pop that between worlds and get on out very, very safely. Inhibitor in the top lane now taken down. They can now rotate their sight to the bottom side.
Shanks not able to find the W there. Sadly, been a common theme for him of late. As Knight getting the best of him, as he has done every other mid laner in the LPL. Knight's been on a hell of a tear this split. I thought that he was just, the MVP for me in Split 2. I really do. Even though he wasn't on the best team, I think that he is going for that MVP this time around. As Kael
looking for one more fight, but just gets gets deleted before he does anything other than that Pop Blossom. Already the first kill going over to Bin as Flandre's health bars ticked very low. Equalizer slowing it down in the retreat.
Ooh.
And Hope will go down between his Nexus turret. Shanks will as well. It is 24-7 as BLG are winning this game all day, every day. The defending champions trapped in their own fountain. Flandre and Tarzan going to try to do the unthinkable. The public execution will force a stopwatch out of Elk, but they will be able to take down the Mbessa all the same. Tarzan gets the gold onto Elk, but it will cost him his life. Another ace picked up for BLG, and they'll march into the Nexus and secure game number 1 of this series.
They need minions. Okay, we're going to triple inhib. They have 2 cannon minions they can bring over. This has bought a little bit of time. It's still game. We're done coping for AL. Solid game for BLG.
Hope doesn't spawn for 10 more seconds. Kael, only the Nico support, will pad the KDAs once more as BLG just decimate the defending champs.
Again, I don't know what compelled us to fight that second dragon as AL, but they definitely deserved to lose after trying to fight that one. Look, I thought that the fights for AL were like, given it was pretty much a 5K gold deficit from like 12 minutes out, there were fights that were closer than what they should have been if you're AL. But was it ever looking like they could win that game? No. So, I don't know. That was kind of a rough one for AL. And really felt like Shadow and Knight just got the best of their opponents. And maybe next time we do not drop jungle when we're facing a Trundle, because that Zed wasn't... A 0 CC game for Zed wasn't exactly what the doctor ordered.
It's so weird because it feels like anyone's Legend, if they just didn't do that one thing that we kept telling them not to do, which was fight around that Drake. They had the scaling composition theoretically. Those fights were so close that if just a little bit more went in their favor in terms of resources, it could have been the start of a turn and the start of a fight and the start of anyone's Legend composition getting to the point that we wanted it to in the draft, but it just never ended up happening because BLG just got too far ahead.
Yeah, you have ways to kill Trundle. Like, we saw a 6-kill Trundle die a couple times. Like, you had lockdown between Nico and Bessa Kaisa to actually get through a tank and then play a fight out from there where minimal CC. Again, if Zed gets going or gets ahead in that game, he is against 0 CC, which is like a very solid game for Zed. Like, that sounds really good to me. That and a lot of squishies outside of Trundle, but I just don't think the AL respected their power curve at all. So they really dug themselves a grave, and I hate to keep on returning to that point, but again, I thought there were actually like some poor decisions from BLG. Like the push to actually get the bot inhibitor turret, that's what, or I guess that came after the Otacon. I think they still overstayed for that. Like, that inhibitor was pretty null in the game. Like, it should have given, like, we're going to go to some LS-based analysis here, you know, that actually gave more gold over to AL potentially.
Yeah.
The fight around the red buff was sloppy. They gave away 2 shutdowns to critical members, right? So it's not like BLG played that one out the cleanest, but also in a way that's kind of the return to form of BLG from when they were truly dominating this league in the past, that they never needed to play anything out cleanly because they were just the best team and the best players. And we have seen Bin and Knight sure as hell look like the best players in their role for this split of LPL, and Shadow has just kind of been the catalyst that this team needs to get those players off the ground, get Elk off the ground has also been fantastic this year, and win games, and that's all BLG's done.
And, you know, something that I think has gone under the radar a little bit with the emergence of Shadow and the dominant Cinderella run, or not Cinderella run, but just the honeymoon phase of BLG and their undefeated run, is the fact that Bin is, like, fully back, right? Like, you know, like, there were periods of last split where Bin definitely was not super comfortable.
He needs to be, like, when he said Ego Bin was back when the playoffs came in,
yeah.
I feel like he's really trying to not do that again. And to be fair, like, he could if he wanted to. He's been damn good.
No, he's been really good. And there was a lot of inconsistencies with Bin's play. You know, you could maybe attribute some of it to the meta, where it was a lot of Scions, a lot of Yoriks, and that was not necessarily Bin's strong suit. But it feels like he's back to the old player that he was, you know, a year ago. And that is one of the best top laners in the world, if not just the LPL. Yeah. And that was something that BLG did not have last split, and that's why they had a lot of their struggles before Beishuan ended up coming in.
So they're just going to show it one more time. This was a bad fight.
Yeah, really.
Like,
I wasn't sure if you thought that.
This was just not good. Nothing about this was good. The game, I felt like the game was lost from here. So, because everyone died. I don't know if they're going to show the rest that died. Okay, they will. Well,
just to make you feel more pain.
Yeah, this is where the game's over. So yeah, good job, BLG.
Now, it was an interesting situation that was opened up at the draft where both teams kind of left up a lot of these OPs, right? You see Kaisa, you see Trundle, Rumble all selected Talia as well. Definitely makes things a little bit different as we go into game number 2 of this draft. I mean, honest, I don't think Cubby AL necessarily drafted very poorly in this one. They had a very specific game plan. They just didn't execute on it going into the game, right? Like they were supposed to scale and they didn't try to scale.
I mean, I do think Zed Talia is kind of hard to execute, but at least Zed actually like had qualities in that game that were positive. Going up against no CC. Like it's just not the pairing that you exactly want with Talia, which is why I think like we even saw Zin hover. I just think that if we're gonna go back, like why did we R3 Nico and then not ban Karma? I think the bans were Rel, which is warranted. I think Rel ban's very warranted into Nico, but I would ban Rel and Karma instead of the Rakan. I don't think that you care about Rakan if you're Nico. Like if you're gonna get comboed as Rakan, like, you just channel your R and it's fine, right? Like it's kind of a handshake. Whereas Karma, like we saw them just get bashed in lane. And also, like, why not just pick Wukong? You can actually use that counter pick for support. Like I think again, Zed on 5, it had some qualities, but it's not a good pairing with Talia. It's only good in the other draft. And if you get Talia Wukong, like you can play Wukong into Trundle, into Aurora, into Rumble. Like we could have seen Jarvan that game too, which actually does have good setup for Talia and does play with Nico well and can actually, play with Talia too into the Trundle. Like that's very playable. Again, like I just don't think that dropping jungle, like in hindsight, ended up being the right call. And that's just talking about draft. The biggest problem is still fighting the second Drake, but I beat that dead horse for the entire game. So I gotta dig for new things to talk about here, Grapes.
Yeah, hey, you know, the best thing about League of Legends is that once you get to the second game, once this one's over, all the advantages that you generated in that first game are gone. We start right back from square one.
True.
AL probably going to be on the blue side now that they dropped that first game. Maybe that's enough to help them out and try to even up our series, get to that coveted 6-game day here in what is a exciting day on LPL English. Obviously, whenever you have finals rematch, I think JDG versus TS definitely delivered. It's been a good day of games so far.
Yes. All right, Graves, before we get our pog, I asked you in the last series when Joao came in, like what reliever for the Yankees that you didn't want to see. Yeah. Shadow coming in for BLG. What player is that like coming to the Yankees that you're just like, oh my god, you know?
Oh, David Bednar locking down, closing the games out here.
Okay, I guess Shadow's the closer. That's kind of crazy. I think this is a warranted pog for On. I thought On had a lot of really good roams and actually played this Karma pick very well. He is a sneaky, decent Enchantress player, which has definitely helped BLG a lot in the past few years in the run that he's had with Bin on this team. Good look for On, and see if BLG can close it out in 2 in the next game, Grapes. Just like your closer over there for the Yanks.
Yeah. Hey, down to maybe one more game here for BLG to jump up to 8-0 and jump back into first place in the Group Ascent standings. AL, they don't want to get swept here by their rivals at this point, the team that they beat multiple times over the past couple of months, whether it was at the domestic finals or internationally. And it starts here. Turn around here in game 2 for them, for these defending champions. Will it happen? Or will BLG end up with a 2-0 sweep? We'll find out right after this short break here on LPL English.